one of the most consistent players from all of Europe, and yet finds himself here in the reboot round. Also landing very, very far in this kind of southwest corner with 3 other players nearby, Clay. So what kind of draws people to this part of the map? Towards the outskirts of the farm, over by that apple orchard, as we have Train H Yagsuo setting up a nice little almost Bugs Bunny-X trap here. Just hiding around the corner, waiting for him to poke out. Is he hunting Wabbits? He's able to get the first shot there. 63 comes through. Nice little wall replace to pin the player in, and not a whole lot Benji 4K is going to be able to do there. The slightly less popular Benji going to be cleaned up with a nice little ambush play from Yagsuo.
Move on to your fights. You don't want to get third-partied. As we swap over to the agency, we do see Zenit and Light, who are right on top of each other. Zenit already went in. Light going to go ahead and break on in. Shot's going to go in through. Zenit, though, has the mythic drum gun, and Light tried to ambush him, but Zenit was ready for it.
All right, we've talked about this before.
This is where it can get a little bit different than the agency fight, right? The loadouts are going to be similar. No one's going to have a mythic item to really make it work. And we'll see what Kubix is going to be able to do. As his enemy is coming on through, he turns his back on him, and though is Stina going to be able to come from behind. Kubix not paying attention, but he gets the turn on, and he gets the elimination.
However, he should know, it looks like he's clear at this point, so shouldn't have too much time rotating away with all of that extra vault loot. Again, we talk about kind of the priority on the mythic weapons. Deadpool's pistols not really up there. The siphon on them being nice to get yourself up, but if you control the vault, not necessary in most circumstances. As now we swap on board with UX Zebra, who currently has Sky's loadout, but is pinched in here in a tough situation, but some really good defensive shots is going to get him out of that. And honestly, he should be fine to now rotate away, considering he does have the grapple and all that vault loot to himself. It looks like
you see him break into that. We're actually going to swap over to a big fight between 2 Titans, Sky and Letwick. This is very, very big. Letwick, a phenomenal player. Sky, a phenomenal player. Not able to make it happen. Wall going to be taken. Sky, though, has that epic pump shotgun, can make it work. Letwick being very aggressive. We've seen him here time and time and again. Likes to push the aggression onto the enemy player. Sky, though, is going to have to make a play. Only 12 builds remaining here for him. He's only at 89 effective HP. No shields to heal up with. Nothing in his arsenal to work with other than that shotgun and the SMG combo. Could get a harpoon play in there if he's quick enough, but Letwick just going to capitalize, and Skype going down is huge there for this lobby. It's all about the end of the day is that mental aspect, how it affects you. As we move over here to Alex as he's fighting against XCOM here as the shots are continuing. A wall going to get taken. Arrow with the top is going to get placed, but that wall blocks him off for the moment. High ground going to be retaken here by XCOM. The shot's going to go through momentarily. He's able to get this wall. This player continuing to hold it, though. The cone over the top going to cause XCOM a little bit of panic. Does not want to be trapped in that other player's box. We talk about piece control, and right now he's currently losing it, but the stair going to go through. That's going to be huge. He can keep it the pressure, but a nice edit downwards and out is going to keep the pressure off of the other player.
Yeah, he wants to try and force in here. This is Jaznik, I believe, because I know AGO is an org. I believe XCOM also is, but I also have no idea how to pronounce that name. So I'll stick with XCOM for now as he hits a big 48 tag and then able to swing around and land. Really precise timing there with the pumps. A lot of players you'll generally see, but a nice little ambush coming through here from Cryptice. Again, just trying to wait around a corner. This gets to be a little riskier, though, the later on in the game, because you just kind of assume somebody else is watching, but instead goes to that trusted blue SMG, trying to force through in the walls, gets good piece control above him to make sure he forces that player around, and you can see him starting to try and get aggressive, forces his way into the box. Edit comes through on the staircase, switches back over that blue SMG, and he's going to just be able to pick up effects there. Linear not quite being enough in that box fight, as now unfortunate, because that moment of aggression could have been really key and put himself forward. Instead, drops down a couple of 19 tags, takes a 20 shot back, but this player has to be careful because he's moving back through Ice's old builds and just kind of overexposing himself. And you can see Ice senses danger. He senses blood in the water. He wants to go after this player. Every single time this player has tried to go up, he's been able to either get a shot or take piece control away from him. And Trulex is kind of just getting run around. Ice dives right in the box, takes that one out, and honestly, he looked the much better player in that exchange.
Even find another player here. We'll see if he continues this sort of sneaky ambush move here. And he is. Shot's going to come through. That's going to be a nice couple tags there onto Hardy. You see he's about 130 effective. As Ice is going to continue to go and push his advantage. He decides, you know what? No, I got the damage. I don't really need to go out of it aggressive. I want to see what I got down here. I want to see what the loot I got. Back to max materials as well, so he can continue push this or not. He's in a very good spot and in a great spot in this game overall.
And then immediately covering his back, recognizing, hey, I need to be careful. There are a number of players over here on the edge of the zone. Lucky for him, though, doesn't have too far forward to go, but there is a player directly here in front of him. Ramps up above him and then immediately into the same box. Big 100 tag there. Gonna opt to then stick with the pump and just cleans up Stormy right. That was kind of an awkward fight, but gets the 4 for the elimination. Also hits top 50 there, so gets an additional point. And he moves himself up to 10.
We'll see if he's going to be able to convert with that heavy sniper. If he's going to be able to hit those shots when it matters the most. He's got a player right in front of him. They may start to fight, and you see Kylix looking around immediately for a third-party opportunity, but I think he's going to be found out from the inside. Shot's going to come through, but Kylix just going to get the triple think onto Noob.
And that's reminiscent of, like, which means he can generally safely rotate into the zone. You see he's going to build up above this player here and just try and establish dominance over on the side of the lobby. You can see just made it into the safe zone, and a real textbook backside of rotation zone, or backside of zone rotation by Andretta, and then immediately recognizing the fact, hey, that player's probably going to follow my safe rotation. Gets a nice couple of 32 tags to really just establish himself safely right on the edge of this fourth zone.
And you said it, establish him safely. Had he not done that, we would have seen Jakey do exactly what he did now, but just a little bit more aggressive, as Andretta is now going to realize that he's been ramped over, so that's going to cause him a little bit of issue with rotation. Right now, he's not focused on that. He's focused on getting an elimination, and Godspeed going to go down. Andretta picking up his first elimination. Very heads-up play. Realize, hey, you know what? I can't really contest high ground here. I can't really worry about Jakey. I'm just going to worry about who's in front of me, eliminations I could possibly get, and you see them stacked on top of each other, Rihas, Jakey, and Andretta, and a very interesting spot to see if we'll pull next zone, as we do move over to Blackie here. Really good loadout, but I am concerned, though,
of Fortnite. This is where players will be using all of their opportunities, all of their practice in those scrims, in those zone wars, in the turtle fights that were so popular early on. All the piece control, all of it comes together to just try and desperately make it to that next safe zone while also eliminating players. As we hop on board here with Ice, or Crypty Ice, who's had a fantastic game so far. We saw a number of his early eliminations continuing to try and apply the pressure. He does have a little bit of a rotation to make. You can see that's why he's trying to force some damage and force these players away so he can follow up behind him. Using that blue SMG to continue to try and move forward and get in towards the zone, is able to pick up a nice little elim there. Nebby going down, and Cryptice again showing he's not afraid to trade some of that damage if he's able to get in the box, because he's hitting those shots.
And that was such a smart play. Put the pressure on your rotation, because you know you've got to. You're not on the furthest side of moving into half in, half out. You're close. Zone is going to be 10 to 20 seconds. You have time to put the pressure down onto your opponent, which Nebby was not able to capitalize on, moving away and separating the layers that he really needed to get away from Ice. And that's why Ice was able to make things happen. As you see Item just beam Razor, as Razor's going to get beamed from another side. We'll hop back over here to Ice. But Ice, like you talked about, a very, very smart play in a very good position to get this zone. But interesting enough, if zone pulls away from all these players to that southeast or west, which is not going to happen, that would have been a very hard rotation for everybody. We'll see what Ice is going to be able to do on this long rotation.
Yep, and now we're out on the wide shot. As we hop back on board here with Ice, you can see he's kind of pulled the nearer zone, but he's trying to check below him because he doesn't necessarily have what he knows as a safe layer or a really good way to kind of rotate back through this. However, sees a player building right there next to him, trying to get some burst shots down. The burst rifle is interesting in the fact that it applies a lot of pressure onto walls that aren't freshly built, but if they've been able to be built, like so many of these are, it's really difficult to get through. As now we see Storm Surge popping up as Ice is just getting absolutely obliterated there, trying to go a little bit too quickly through the builds, not checking his side, and goes down to DM Sick on the low ground. 4 more players need to fall, as now we swing out onto the wide. We see Savid, Podsai, Motor, Letwick, and Doretta all in the lobby, all on the low ground. You have Light, the World Cup qualified player, also down there as DM Sick goes down to the Storm just outside that top 30. 1 more player needs to go down, and there it is. Storm Surge will turn off. Just be the rotations causing players to go down. As Snagfed picks up a nice little double onto the Uva boys. almost completely in. And this is what we talked about, Clay. A little bit more kind of patient, a little slower today. People not flying at each other, and still 27 players remaining as we go into the 6th circle.
Yeah, the mid game a little bit more hectic here as Light making things happen. The end game not going to be as hectic as it was last couple weekends, right? These are going to be a little bit lighter, like you talked about, as we do see Light with some really good rotations. A very heads-up play to continuously block off his back as he knew there was a player trying to pressure him. This is going to be interesting for him. Is that player going to go aggressive? Shot's going to go through. He's going to find a 150 tag onto someone as we do see Ledwig falling to Andretta. Big names going out here as Light continues to push his advantage, and he's hopping the box. Apocalypto going down. Very well executed there from Light.
Yeah, we're closing in on that top 20 now, and we'll start to see placement points going out every 5 players to go down rather than 10 up until we get to the top 10. You see Glock Martin hanging out in the storm there with some floppers. Keelix able to pick up items. Snagfed gets saved. T gets Heineck, and a number of players going down there as we have our top 15 now. Zenit, the one with Midas's drum gun, making sure he gets a reload off there, going straight for the spray and pray, and he hits it. The one headshot into the back-to-back 25s, going to be everything he needs and more. Now gives him 5 floppers and the ability to just kind of hang out in the side. You see him also pick up the legendary pump, so nice upgrades going on there. You can see him immediately opt to go back out into the storm to try and make a play, as now we have Keelix up on the high ground. You can see Zenit just below him trying to take advantage as we hop back on board with Light, trying to put some additional pressure down with the pump. Is able to get the phase through, but just wants to get back into the zone as we close in on our top 5. 6 players remaining with a great tack follow-up there from Light to close in, and now he has a ton of space on this low ground, Clay.
A ton of space indeed, as you see players are above him, right? Kawix is coming from behind as you see shots going through. He was playing low ground, but forced up into mid ground. Shots continue to go through. Kylix actually going to get dropped down. Kawix going to go down there to Small, I believe his name is there. Yeah, Small, controller Small, representing is Kylix going to get elimination, but quickly follow over to Ariana SMG as Light versus Ariana versus one more player here. We'll see what he's going to be able to do. He's got the impact weapon. He's got that RPG. He can make it happen, but the problem here for Light, lack of builds. It's going over old builds. You see him literally trying to farm up anything he can. There's a player right above him. If these are any of the other players' builds, he's going to get edited on in a very nice stare over the top of his head. But as the edits come through, drop down coming through, Light down to 15 HP. We'll see if he's going to make things happen. And he challenges Small. That's going to be a huge elimination. He does get the grappler because of it. It's him versus Ariana SMG up on the high ground. RPG's coming through. Light trying to make something happen, but effective HP definitely going to go over here to Ariana. We'll see if Light's going to make the play. Edits going through, shots missing and being taken. Edits hitting the shots, but Ariana SMG going to hit a better one, and they're going to pick up the victory royale.
Yeah, tough positioning there from Light, being pushed into a box against that epic pump with only 65 HP. Hit the 66 tag, but not quite enough there. He was running on the end of a tightrope, but unfortunately ran just out of room.